This is ghastly. Coffin's ready to be opened.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I will be doing another episode recap. I apologize for the other videos not being uploaded. It was a system issue with YouTube, so my sincerest apologies. But let's get into this episode recap. Today is July 10, 2024. So we see Leo, he's in the square typing up this gossip column, right, about what Gabby did with EJ in the square the other day, right? So he's gonna have all the tea, all the gossip to put in his column, right? So then we see Xander coming up. He's on a run, right? So he is like deja vu again for Leo, but the third time, because he's like asking for a glass of water. But this time, Leo obliged and said, you're my boss, so I will perform the duties. I will offer you that water. So yeah, that was it with them, right? So then we see Bonnie and Justin. They're having lunch at the pub, right? So they're discussing the upcoming nuptials between Sarah and Xander and Teresa and Alex, right? And Justin is just happy that Teresa is going to sign the prenup, right? Because there's a lot of money on the line and he's just protecting the family's interest at the end of the day. And Bonnie is skeptical about her, maybe she's just in it for the money. She's just, her signing the prenup will not change the fact that she's just into Alex for his money, right? And Justin is just down about the fact that Alex is not his son, presumably, right? So he's just feeling down about that, and Bonnie tries to cheer him up, and she really understands what he's going through. Anyways, Bonnie had a run to do. She had to meet up with Sarah to do some wedding planning, right? So Justin was there at the pub by himself for a while. So then we see Chad, right? He's at the Horton house and he's on the phone with Kayla, because you remember he and Kayla had a meeting earlier about Abigail being presumably alive, right? And him trying to get to Paulina to what is it? Is it exhume the body, open up the casket to see if Abigail is truly there. So anyways, while he was on the phone, Jack comes in and he's startled by Jack, and Jack is like, don't try to pull nothing over me right now. I know what you're up to, right? So Jack found out that Chad went to Paulina for permission to exhume the body, right? So he's like, how could you do that? Like, why would you want to desecrate Abigail's body even further? Like, he's just upset about it because he knows a colleague from the city hall and they are the ones that informed him. So that's why he's like, he's glad that the person was able to put a hold on that process being done so that he can confront Chad, right? So Chad is like, he really didn't want to get his and Jennifer's hopes up, and he's like, does Jennifer know? And Jack says no. Jennifer doesn't know. I don't want this to stress her out, right? So he's like, but Julie knows. And he's like, Chad is like, Julie was there because she wants to find out the answers. She was there, right? And he was explaining that Clyde told him about Abigail possibly being alive, and he's like, how could you, I trusted you to be smarter than that. Like, I believe that you would have more sense than this to believe a con man, a drug dealer, right? God knows whatever other crimes he committed. Like, why would you do that? And he's like, I got some evidence. So he showed Jack the video of the lady in a room, right? Presumably Abigail, but it's grainy. And Jack is like, why would Clyde give you this piece of evidence and it's grainy, right? So Chad said he tried to get in contact with Clyde, but Clyde was already moved to Superbox, so he couldn't get to him. So at that point, Jack is like, is this the only option? And then at that point, Chad get a notification from Paulina that the process is ready to begin, and they're ready to go ahead with the exhuming of Abigail's body, right? So then we see Teresa and Alex, and they're just there. Teresa is just looking on a brochure about a possible honeymoon, right? She's just ready to plan the wedding, and Alex is excited, and Alex is like, I'm excited that you're really willing to sign a prenup. And she was like, I'm a little bit hesitant about, she seemed hesitant about it because she was like, why should she not be trusted, right? But said she was going to sign it anyways. And, he just knows that, she's there for him, or so he thinks, right? So she's like, this is just to shut up everybody, especially Brady, to not have something else to say about me being a gold digger and all that. And he's like, I know you're not. Again, Alex is being hopeless right now, a hopeless romantic at this point, or maybe he's just really dumb, just Johnny Bravo dumb, honestly. But anyways, we see in the next scene where Maggie comes in with an envelope for Alex, right? And Alex is like, "Oh, that's our prenup. That's our prenup." And she's like, "Oh, really?" He said, "Yes, Teresa agreed to sign it." And she said, "Oh, okay, I see, I see." So then we move on to the next scene, right? Because we're gonna go back to these people, but let's go on to the next scene. So we see Bonnie head over to Sarah's, right? And Sarah's like, the baby is done, so we can, work on this wedding planning, right? So they're looking through dresses and themes and ideas, right? So then at some point, Bonnie is like saying, you know, I really would like the idea of you guys having a double wedding between you and Xander and Teresa and Alex. And Sarah still was hesitant about it because of Xander's dislike for Teresa and vice versa, right? So she doesn't think it was a good idea. And then, this is her second time marrying Xander, and Bonnie was like, the more reason for you to have a double wedding, right? It's more reasons. So Sarah still was hesitant about it, and then it moved from that to the point where Sarah said, "Oh, you and Justin RSVP'd." So that's when Bonnie remembered the day that she knocked over the garbage bin, and she noticed that there was the letter in there for Xander's mom, which Teresa carelessly disposed of there, right? Because if you're trying to get rid of a person or something related to the person, why don't you like put it through the shredder or something? Like, it's in the mansion still, and I'm just not understanding Maggie how come Bonnie didn't figure out that Teresa said she was gonna mail somebody? Like, it don't make sense. But anyways, we go back here, right? And Justin is by himself and he's thinking about his time with Alex when he held him in his arms. A throwback. He looks so good there. So then we see Xander coming in, and Xander is like, "You want me to buy you a beer or something?" So they're sitting down chatting, and Justin said he was very impressed that Xander turned down the money that Maggie wanted to give to him because he's executor of the Kyriakis estate, and he was expecting that, Xander would take the money. But Xander is like, I didn't want to take it, but because I didn't know if Victor wanted me to have any of his money, right? So he turned it down, and they started talking more about the will and how Justin feel about it, and he's like, the person most hurt by this will and Victor is you, because you found out that Alex is not yours, and then Alex is just treating you so horribly, right? So they started talking more and more about it, and Justin said this is not the first time because Angelica told him that Alex wasn't his son way back then, and then Dr. Horton, Tom Horton? Yes, he said that Alex was his when he did a blood test on him, but Xander's like saying blood tests look like they're not accurate. Of course, their blood tests are really accurate unless somebody tamper with them. So yeah, why didn't they do a DNA test though? I don't understand that. Anyways, we see Leo over here, and I can't remember this new guy. I know his real name is Derek. But anyways, he came over and he's like, "Hey, I'm a big fan of you." And he's like, "Oh, really?" So Leo is full of himself already, so he got excited about it. And I'm not gonna hold you on this scene at all. They started talking more, and the guy wanted to know more secrets about his column and his job. And then Leo was just so giddy about it, and Leo just followed him to the hotel room, and I guess they had some intimate time there. But I don't know how Leo just opened up. I don't know if he's that desperate or needy, lonely. Yeah, or a combination of the three. But yeah, they did. I'm not gonna hold you on the scene. They did what they did. So we go back to Maggie, Alex, and Teresa, right? So they begin talking more about the wedding and what they want to get done, and then they bring up the idea of the double wedding. But then Teresa is hesitant because she doesn't like Xander, and Xander doesn't like her. So, anyways, Maggie is saying that she's no stranger to double weddings because she had a double wedding back in the day with her and Mickey and her daughter Melissa and some other guy, right? But they're no longer together. But she said it was a pleasant memory, right? So she's not opposed to the idea of another double wedding in the Kiriakis mansion, right? But then Teresa is like she started warming up to the idea to say, all right, I want to get married to you as soon as possible. I don't know. This girl is relentless. Anyways, she said that she's ready to marry him, like even tomorrow, the next day. So she's willing to have the double in stomach Xander just because she's getting to marry Alex, right? Anyways, move on to the next scene, right? So we see finishing up the scene with Bonnie, Xander, and Sarah, right? Before Xander came in, right? Bonnie was saying that she came across, she was wondering if Sarah got an RSVP from a special person. She was hinting at Xander's mom. So Sarah's like, no, she don't get any other RSVPs. So at that point, Xander came in, right? Because I think Bonnie was going to tell her that she mailed off the letter to Xander's mom. So Teresa is in for it. That the boy is going to be a whole mess. Anyway, Xander came in and they started briefly talking about the wedding ideas, and Bonnie said, all right, I need to go, and she leaves Xander and Sarah to talk, and she reminds Sarah that she needs to talk to Xander about that idea that they were talking about, which was a double wedding. So Justin heads back to the Kiriak expansion, right? And he gets the prenup from Alex and he oversees it and he said this looks good so far because Teresa signed it, right? I'm surprised Teresa is not gonna go for that prenup and tear it up, but let's see what happens, folks. But anyways, Justin is happy that the prenup is signed and he just wants to protect the family interest, right? A whole lot of money involved, so he has to do that as the executor, right? So, anyways, we move on to the next scene. So we see Xander and Sarah, right? And Sarah is just filling him in on the idea of a double wedding, and he's like, "Really, with those two? Oh no, 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 that can't happen, right?" Because we know Xander doesn't like neither Alex nor Teresa. But anyways, Sarah, and then he said he has a bad experience with double weddings because remember he was to marry Gwen, the same actress that is playing Teresa right now, and it's just a deja vu because both her double weddings are going to be in disaster. Both characters just messed it up with the person that they're supposed to marry because I think Gwen was withholding information from Xander and it got found out at the wedding. I think Abigail exposed her, right? So that's gonna happen again. So it's like this actress is playing the both characters, she's just doomed. Doomed. But it's her own fault, right? It's her own fault that she keeps sabotaging things for her, right? But anyways, Xander agreed to it as long as he's standing beside Sarah. He doesn't expect nothing to go wrong. And then Bonnie, I think Sarah called Bonnie and told her that she's in it as long as Teresa and Alex are in for it. Their game, right? So, anyways, they are game. So, looks like we're looking at a double wedding or a disaster for double wedding, folks. And that was it with them. So, we move on to the next scene. So we see the last scene where Chad and Jack are at the gravesite for Abigail, right? And the men are there. And Jack just have this uneasy feeling. Both of them have this uneasy feeling. They're nervous, they're anxious, understandably. So the men are saying to them that, they're ready to do the exhuming, right? So let's see if Abigail is truly there or not. We're gonna find out, people. But I'm just trying to say this from the beginning. Like, Chad doesn't need no permission from Jack or Jennifer. He is the husband of Abigail, so he should have all the legal rights, right? So I don't know why Jack was trying to contest something. I guess you can do it, but he has a lot more rights since he's married to her, right? So I don't know. I don't know the legalities work, people. You can tell me otherwise. I won't fight you. But anyways, that was it, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for the support thus far. Comment below your thoughts. I'll see you next time for next episode recap. All right. Bye.